So, today, in the beginner class, 1年生 first grade class, we'll be learning blah blah があります or blah blah がいます. In English, there is or there are. And you can see some doodles here. You will see it later. Why they are there. Plus location words. 右, right, 左, left, 上, on or above, 下, under or beneath. And so on and so on. So we'll have a look at these location words together with blah blah があります, います. Today, yes, here we go. Well, let's start with reviews. So last time, we worked on, what is it called? We went further on verbs. So you have learned basic conjugations, what the verbs are, how they work in the Japanese language structure and stuff. And then, for example, 見る to see, 見ます、見ません, and negative, and 見ませんか as a variation, expression variations. We went this much. We learned about these kind of things last time. I hope you remember, hopefully, right? And then, by now, I'm assuming that you can make these sentences in Japanese. So you know Japanese subjects, objects, verbs, and particles. So let's see if you can make these sentences in Japanese first before we go. I watch anime. It should be easy. 私は can be dropped when it's obvious, when it's clear. And anime as an object comes, and watch, 見る will be conjugated into 見ます to express that it's a present tense. It's something you repeatedly do, or when you put tomorrow, 明日, or this evening, 今夜, 今晩. And then the same sentence, アニメを見ます will be future tense. So this is what we have learned. Good. Did you go well? Let's try the next one. My friend studies Japanese at a cafe. Where do we start? My friend or my? Well, probably we don't have to specify this is my friend or not your friend. So just, okay, friend. 友達. Good. Studies. 勉強する. Japanese language. 日本語. At a cafe. So now you have to think of the particle expressing the location. At a cafe, usually we say 友達は as a topic and は cafe で and then the place 日本語を object 勉強します verbs in mass form. Good. できた? Did you get to do it? Hopefully you did. Hopefully it was the same answer. Well, I mean, as you know, as long as the right particles are followed, you can have カフェで maybe 友達は日本語をカフェで勉強します You can, yes. カフェで友達は日本語を勉強します Maybe we have said that. But anyway. So the green ones, they are particles. And the underlined ones, they are the verbs we have learned. But here, today, looks a bit different from what we have learned. So for example, あそこにカフェがあります。あそこにカフェがあります。There is cafe over there. The particles. Well, あります. This is not the ones we knew. あります. So a new verb. And then に and が instead of で or は. Right. Well, particles so far, we have learned this much actually. わ、が、か、の、も、ね、よ、お、で、に、え. Lots. Which one are we talking this time? が. Well, in this time, there are あります います。Doesn't have to be subject marker or question or emphasis. It could be any of them. But がいます、があります should be always a set. So you just remember, you just memorize, okay, あります、います, there should be が should be followed. And 2、カフェで日本語を勉強します。We've learned this. カフェがあります。or あそこに here、You have learned as a destination. 学校に行きます。カフェに行きましょう。2 can be also place of being. So、when things exist or when things is being presented, we will use に as well. Okay, that's why they are here. A bit look different from this one. But this is what we're gonna learn today. So, あります、います。There are two variations, but there are differences. あそこにカフェがあります。The second one, あそこに猫がいます。猫。Cat. So what's the difference? When do we distinguish these verbs? So both means there is or there are when it's plural, but あります for non-living thing, like cafe or buildings or things or food or and います for people or other living things. Ta-da! Ja-jan! Here, you can see the doodles. Houses, teddy bears, apples or donuts, and trees. They will be あります. I know some people would wonder, like, trees, they are alive. I would agree. But in Japanese grammar, we take it as a non-living, not maybe moving thing, self-moving thing maybe. I don't know. Okay, let's say non-living thing, including plants or the trees and stuff. あります. We say あります. います on the other hand, people or other living things. So woman, man, children, whatever, cats, unicorns even, we say います. We take them as living thing. And people usually ask me, how about ghosts? I was like, okay, right, that's a good question. But we say います. We say います. So for ghosts as well. お化けがいます。幽霊がいます。So ask me if you have any further questions. How we sort things in non-living or other living things. Anyway, so that's the difference. あります。います。And again, あそこにカフェが猫が. So that's the basic structure. This can be also used when you express that you have or you own things. For example, うちにホームシアターがあります. What's this? ホームシアターは何ですか? What's this? ホームシアター. Well, the first one, うちに and home theater があります. And the second one, うちに猫がいます. Neko, that was cat, right? Home theater, that's a home theater. Home theater system. So I have a home theater system at home. In Japanese, うちにホームシアターがあります. It's a non-living thing. Right, and at home, a home theater thing is being presented at the place. So うちに. And then there's a cat. Oh, I just haven't changed that, the translation, sorry. But I have a cat at home. The second one. うちに猫がいます. And then, います for living things and to own or as a pet and stuff. We can also say this using this grammar. To have friends or family or time, we can say that using あります、います. For example, the first one, 時間がありますか? Or か, I hope you remember this か at the end. This is a question marker, right? So it's a question with a question mark. 時間がありますか? Do you have time? 日本人の友達がいます. How about this? What does it mean? 日本人の Japanese 友達 So this no connects these two words. 日本人の友達 Japanese friends. Do you have time for non-living thing? あります。I have a Japanese friend. For people, for other living things. In this Japanese grammar, you can't really tell if it's a single Japanese friend or some plural Japanese friends. But anyway, 日本人の友達がいます。So, います for people. Good. And when you respond as a negative, when you want to express in negative form that you don't have blah, 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 but there isn't blah, blah, blah. How do we say this? 時間がありますか? Do you have time? Do you have any Japanese friends? 日本人の友達がいますか? So, to the question with あります when it's yes, はい、あります when it's no, いいえ、ありません It's wrong to say あらないです or something. And we can also say ないです ないです literally means there is nothing. There is no such things. Or ないです ない is already negative. ありませんあります negative version ありません But ないです just none. います question. When it's yes, はい、います When it's no, いいえ、いません So when you use a negative in usual sentences, for example, I don't have any Japanese friends. 日本人の友達がいません So you can just use this way. I don't have time. 時間がありません instead of あります。時間がないです instead of あります。Good. The first one. うちにホームシアターがあります。So in this context, I have a home theater system at home. Or there is. Or at my place. In this case, this is the place of being. So we say うちに But, for example, home party, which is a home party, this is an event taking place or happening. Happening in a certain place, we use で instead of に. So there's a difference. So you have to distinguish depending on the context. So when something is in Tokyo, is located in Tokyo, 東京に but something is happening in Tokyo, 東京で So this is the difference. Hope you know. Good. Right, now we go further to describe where things are. Well, so far, when you're asked, for example, where's the cafe? カフェはどこですか? You must know these. I hope you remember. コソアド覚えていますか? Do you remember? どこ Where? ここです Here. そこです It's right there close to you. あそこです It's over there. 覚えてました? Did you remember? Good. Now we go further to learn more. To specify where the thing is, where the things are. カフェはどこですか? あのホテルの前です。What does it mean? あのホテルの前です。It's in front of that hotel. That hotel. Before the noun, あれ cannot be used. So, あの, right? あのホテル. And then here comes another no to combine. あのホテルの前です。That would be a perfect answer to the question, where's the cafe? カフェはどこですか? When it's located in front of that hotel, あのホテルの前です。And when you replace 前 with 後ろ which means behind, or 裏 on the back side of something, あのホテルの後ろです。あのホテルの裏です。You can say that when it's located behind it or on the back side of the hotel. Or you can say 隣 which is next to. あのホテルの隣です。隣 you can't really tell if it's on the right side or the left side or the, but it's just next to it. And it's a little bit more like vague when you say 近く which means beside or そば near. そば this そば is not a food not the noodles in Japan. This means near or close to something. あのホテルの近くです。あのホテルのそばです。That would be beside or near or close. Good, good. Between two things, how do we say this? カフェはどこですか? For example, カフェはレストランと図書館の間です。レストランと図書館の間です。So, と that's connecting to words meaning and, right? So the cafe is between the restaurant and the library. So when a thing is located between two things, you can say ブラブラとブラブラの間です。Right. Next one. Location words. で again, when an event is taking place, we use で. This can be also used when the other verbs are used. For example, 待つ instead of あります います 待つ which means to wait for someone, to wait for something. 友達 that's a friend 待ちました that's a past tense there. I waited for my friend in front of the cafe. So you can also say this, you can also use these location words to describe where you did the action of waiting or eating or meeting up or stuff like that. The other verbs can be also used. So this was the point with the particle で. So カフェの裏で maybe on the back side of the cafe you did, or カフェの隣で you can also say that. So that's it. And blah blah no. Right, so finally we just have a look at the further location words and then we'll be done soon. Describing where things are, blah blah no plus location words. Where do we start? Inside maybe. Blah blah no 中. Inside the bag, バッグのカバンの中. For example, on the desk, 机の上. 机の上. We don't distinguish on or above when it's touching or not touching in like in English. We don't do that in Japanese, so it's just 上. That's the same. Under the table, for example, テーブルの下. So don't forget no, blah blah no. And right, 右, left, 左. Good. あ、私のスマホはどこですか? This is what I usually say. 私のスマホはどこですか? どこ? どこ? Where's my smartphone? 私のスマホはどこですか? Ah, it's on the sofa. How do we say this in Japanese? 上. ソファーの上です. And remember this yo at the end. You didn't know stuff, you didn't know. Just telling you. I'm giving you information stuff. ソファーの上ですよ. And stuff. And if you find my smartphone under the sofa, you say ソファーの下ですよ. And stuff like that. Okay, let's go on to the practice then. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. お疲れ様でした. If you want to practice Japanese with us and meet your new classmates, you're more than welcome to join us. おかえりスクール